A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Welcome to the Stuff and Things Podcast. Your home for all stuff related to your favorite things in entertainment. Now, here are your hosts.
The dramatic ass music can mean we're back and we're talking Ahsoka, everybody. I am Sam, it's the Stuff and Things podcast. Joining me, it's my partner in crime, it's Cuddles.
Hello.
How you doing, buddy?
That one caught me off guard. Okay, yeah. If you haven't listened to our question and answers, you're not going to have any idea what that means. But yeah, great.
Yeah,
Cuddles! How we doing?
Recently we did the Stuff and Things podcast Q&A special. 105 questions from our listeners. Thank you so much. You're all incredibly kind. If you have not listened to that show, it is available on all podcasts. It's easy for me to say. I'd edit that, but screw it. You're all going to have to get used to the fact I can't speak today.
That's
all
fine.
podcast providers, including our YouTube channel, have some fun with it. There's a lot of questions in there that are very funny, and one of them was about nicknames, where Stefan revealed to all of our listeners, and more importantly to me, his nickname is Cuddles.
It used to be Cuddles. Used to be.
No. It's Cuddles
It's
now,
back.
buddy.
Yeah. It's
So,
actually like my Xbox name and stuff is Cuddles. Like it was a proper thing. Yeah.
Wow, I'm there. I want to be like the Hugmaster 3000.
Nice.
So me and Cuddles, we watched episode 7 of Ahsoka, the penultimate episode of season 1 ? And there is a big question mark, so we'll start there. When this show was announced, it was announced in amongst various other projects that were going on. Some of those projects just went by the wayside. This one, obviously, has gone ahead, thank goodness. Is part of the Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau Mandoverse, as it's been coined. All leading towards a finale, and that is a cinematic film called Heir to the Empire, which Dave Filoni is writing and directing. Heir to the Empire is a Star Wars novel, all about Grand Admiral Thrawn. So obviously Thrawn being introduced, he was mentioned previously, he's now been introduced in this series. He is the kind of threat now going forward for Imperial remnants reuniting. And that's where we're heading.
Something tells me he's not going to get killed off in the next episode.
He is not.
He's pretty safe on that one. Yeah, plot armor.
However, I am concerned we are going to lose a character. I am actually a little bit concerned Ahsoka might be killed off in the final episode.
Oh.
And the reason why I have this concern is very nerdy, but I have noticed over these 7 episodes there is a loving embrace to the original trilogy on a regular basis.
Yes.
Obviously, the prequel trilogy and the Clone Wars animated and Rebels, I mean, that goes without saying. But almost in every episode, there's a little nod, little wink to that original trilogy, a little loving embrace from Dave to the originals that George made.
I mean, in this episode, it was a 6-foot gold shiny droid, but there has been subtle in other bits.
But there was one other thing in this episode which I could be reaching, alright? So you tell me. You tell me after hearing this, was I reaching? Do you remember in the original trilogy, C3PO screaming at Han Solo the odds of successfully navigating an asteroid field?
Yep.
In this episode, we get Hu Yang talking about the odds of this space whale getting them to where they wanted to go.
Yep.
And then as they pull into the debris field, not asteroid field, but debris field, obviously pointing out that this is a really bad idea.
He may as well have turned around and gone, I have a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, it kind of felt like Droid telling one of our characters, like, this is a bad idea. Do you know what the odds are of this working?
Yeah.
Whether that's reaching, I don't know. But it just feels like there are constant little things that are loving nods back to the original trilogy. And the one thing that's not happened with the original trilogy is the old, wiser character who's guiding the younger characters dying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I keep looking at it and I keep thinking about it. I hope I'm wrong because I don't think I'm emotionally ready to say goodbye to Ahsoka. The sequel films, when they killed off Luke, they pissed me off about that character so much it felt like a mercy kill. But with this, I would not be good. Even if it's like, it don't matter, she's now a Force ghost. Nah, it's not the same. It's not.
Yeah, like, I
it
feel
still
like
matters.
her character has got too much to do in the Mandoverse. Like, we've already seen her cross over into other shows, and I was like, surely there's too much of her still to be done than just to kill her. But now you've said that, and I'm now thinking Obi-Wan, the end of... And oh, no.
You see, I had been thinking that this was before the events of Mandalorian Book of Boba.
Mm-hmm.
So I had been thinking that her appearance with Luke in the Book of Boba Fett, talking, etc., was still to come. So I'd had that in my head that maybe at the end of this series we would have like Force Ghost Anakin saying, "Go find my son," you know, and that'd be kind of a nice dove end to, you know, and that would make sense. But we now know, thanks to this episode, because whilst General Hera's sort of a court-martial, if you like, or hearing, pending court-martial, Captain Carson does stand up and say, hey, what about what's going on Mandalore? Which is literally the final episode of Mandalorian Season 3. All those events happened after the Book of Boba, so we now know in the timeline, oh, okay, this is after. This is time on.
Yeah.
So she has already met Luke. She has already had a chat with him. So we've all missed that, by the way, and I'm super pissed we never got to see them meeting for the first time.
Yeah.
I kind of kept thinking, oh, we got that to come, and now we don't. So...
Yeah, it's a bit frustrating, that one. That was a cool thing I was looking forward to.
Yeah.
So how did she know to go find Luke? How did that happen? I was looking forward to that.
Yeah, so that is on my mind. That is frustrating me. But we shall overcome. I am concerned for her based on that alone. There is another flip to it, though, which is the character of Baylan.
Yes.
I am fascinated by Baylan in this, and there's a little detail which I noticed, and I felt really great about noticing it, and then realised whilst I went online that everyone had already seen it. So, I don't know, do you do that every now and again, like, oh, that's amazing, and then like you sort of go on and think, oh, I might create something for TikTok or Twitter, and you look and you're like, oh, right, okay, so
everyone's
just
okay,
me. Yeah.
Occasionally that happens,
Just me. Yeah. Okay. So the little detail I noticed is he has a green kyber crystal on his belt, like a belt buckle, which I would surmise was his green kyber crystal from his green lightsaber when he was a Jedi.
Oh.
And the interesting detail this week as well is Shin has a Jedi padawan braid in her hair.
Yes.
And there are fragments of, again, a green crystal in her hair, in the braid. The characters, these two, like I said, right from the start, it's been, what is their motivation? You know, it's like,
you feel
Jedi, the Jedi Order fell, he completely lost faith in what the Jedi was, the light, the dark, he felt that it was a wheel that just kept turning and needed to end, needed to break the wheel. You know, wanted to go full Daenerys. But the thing that, like, and this is so sad, the actor has passed away, because the love for his character and his performance in this is so widespread, so universal. I hope his family and friends are embracing that and it's not too sad for them. Being this close, I imagine perhaps it is, but I don't know,
every time he would have loved the work he's done.
Yeah, every episode, or you go online and you just see people talking about this character. Like, everything that's going on, and people are just fascinated. This is so interesting. What an amazing performance. And in this episode, again, there are several scenes. So the first one I'm going to pick on with you is with Shin. So they find Ezra and Sabine.
Yep.
And he basically says to Shin, like, call it in and go and kill them and take your place in the Empire. My path is something else. So we speculated, and a lot of people speculated, that he was basically hitching a ride to this galaxy for another purpose. Like, what is his end game here?
Yes.
It's like, oh yeah, Thrawn, yeah, he's, but he kept saying, like, that's just part of, sometimes you got to burn stuff down to, to create.
Yep.
And he seemed to have this goal, and so what did you think about this? Because to me it was like, I've been training you, you're my apprentice, but you're an ambitious little bugger, and you're probably more Sith than I am, so, go on, be in the Empire, off you go.
Yeah, it was a strange kind of, my path lays a different way, and I'm like, well, where the hell does your path lay then? Like, you've come to this planet, you've helped bring back the Grand Admiral Thrawn, you've mentioned before about, we have to end it to find a new beginning and stuff, and I'm like,
yeah.
I thought, throughout this, I think I've said a few times, I wasn't sure quite where he laid his loyalty.
Yeah.
And then, with this scene, where he kind of now says about going off and you do your own path or I do my path, I'm now sat there like, what is his path? Like,
yeah.
The fact that he's going to allow Shin to go off and potentially kill these two characters, he knows that will then get her high up in Grand Admiral Thrawn's books.
Yep. So
he kind of knows that pretty much leads to him being abandoned on this planet.
And sends her on her way with a lesson about patience. If you try and get victory too quickly, you're going to ensure defeat.
Yeah.
And she instantly uses that as Ezra tries to rush her, and she knocks him on his ass. Ezra loses patience, or Sabine rather.
Yeah, there's a surprise.
And she uses it. There's a shock. But the other thing, and I just want to say this because I find this kind of interesting. Star Wars, all cinema, all TV trope. You got the good guys surrounded, you got guns on them, and you go, right, any last words? You take your time. She didn't, and I kind of loved the fact she was like, destroy them, and he's like, whoa, take us prisoner. She's like, destroy them.
Yeah,
So,
I like that. There was kind of, this is my grand plan, let me give you a speech whilst you get away.
No monologuing, no. So the character of Shin, again, like Baylan's, a little bit fascinating, and him sort of saying, look, your ambition, and me and you, I think, said she seems a bit more Sith than he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, in that moment, just like, kill him. I thought fair play. I like that.
Yeah, but say it's weird. I hadn't noticed. You were saying about the kyber crystals in the hair braid and stuff. I'd noticed the hair braid thing, which is like a padawan thing, not so much a Sith thing. I hadn't noticed the green kyber crystals.
To be honest with you, I don't think you've been able to see it before because she's not been on a planet in light, or she's like everything. And so in this, it picked up. And again, I wrote it down in my notes, and then I went online and everyone was talking about it. I was like, oh.
Well, at least you spotted it.
I break no exclusives ever. But I did go viral on TikTok yesterday.
Nicely done.
There was a trend where a lovely young woman rattles like a bubble tea or something, and it makes a lovely rattling noise.
Oh,
and
yeah.
She said, name a sound better than this. I was like, well, easy. Boba Fett seismic charge. Boom. And a lot of people agreed with me.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, Baylan, mate, I don't know, and I love the fact that we're going into the final episode and we have no idea what this character's goal is.
No, all we know is that he's kind of annoyed Grand Admiral Thrawn now because he realised that only one mercenary had gone to do the job.
So he is no longer aligned with them.
Nope.
When he fights Ahsoka in this, he's purely, in my opinion, protecting Shin.
Yes.
Because when Ahsoka just gets away from the fight and goes, you see the camera lingers on him like he's in this, I've got my mission, but do I, should I go and, no, actually no, I just got to go on with my mission, Shin, she'll have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of interesting to me again, because Jedi don't have attachment. They're not supposed to have attachment, but in that, I think he shows a little bit. He is attached to Shin. There is an attachment there.
And again,
however, he parks it.
Yeah, it was again a lightsaber battle where neither was trying to get a killer blow. You know, I never got the feeling that Baylan was trying to kill Ahsoka. And I never got Ahsoka was just trying to get past him. Like, there was no killer blow sort of thing, you know?
I did find it interesting, his line about "you can't defeat me." And I did think to myself, wow, you're a cocky bastard, aren't you? She took, she was a teenager when she kicked the shit out of Darth Maul, mate.
Yes.
Now, she's older. Perhaps she's not quite as quick and as nimble as she was then. That's fine. But I still, when it comes to her and abilities with the Force, she's very powerful.
She's up there.
And was trained, by a very powerful Jedi, as was. So he has a real, almost arrogance to him in that statement. But then I was thinking about it afterwards, and the more I thought about it, the more I thought, perhaps he's saying that because to beat him, he would have to make a mistake. And he is fighting in a way which is parry, 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 dodge, parry.
Yeah.
I'm not like a Sith uses anger. They try and strike a winning blow. Darth Maul was trying to cut her head off, and that was when she was able to counter, And you look at this and you think about it, well, actually, no, he is fighting like a Jedi. He's fighting like a temple guard, a kind of, I don't need to, I'll just wait for you. I'll just wear you down. I'll just keep defending. You'll never be able to beat me.
Yeah.
And his goal, and I don't think his goal was ever to kill Ahsoka.
His goal was just to hold her up. Let Shin go get her thing done.
Yeah. And, you've heard that before. Remember the line about having to kill, there's so few Jedi left. It'd be a shame. Like, oh, you're saying I wasn't? No, I'm just commenting on the fact that it would be a shame to have to kill her. Seeing her was like, it's a surprise. Like, it almost felt like he was going to say, oh, it's a nice surprise. Well done. Well done.
I did. It felt like she was like, you surprised? And I was waiting for him. She says, you disappointed.
Yeah.
And I was kind of waiting for him to say, actually, pleasantly surprised or something like that.
I felt that was coming as well. And that's interesting that his character's been able to do that. So the flip side to this is we are going into episode 8 with this character, very much an unresolved story, but I do feel like there is something there.
Yeah.
I feel like there's going to be something big there. The massive, massive downside to that, of course, is that the actor has passed away. So I've kept watching this and kept thinking to myself, I'm guessing they would not announce anything about this character out of massive respect for him, obviously.
Yep.
But also, if his character did meet his demise in the finale or anything like that, then obviously you'd be giving that away if you were to announce something earlier, or if, this character does something amazing, it leads to something else, then, oh crap, we need to find a way of, continuing this, we're going to have to recast, or whatever they're going to have to do. You're not going to announce that before the show's aired.
Nope.
So, I do think every road is open to something happening. I've seen loads of theories. I've got a few things in mind that I think is going to happen. But yeah, the character's fascinating to me. So with everything else that's going on, which kind of like the main storyline, his arc across these 7 episodes we've seen so far, it just fascinates me. And I think that's largely down to the performance from the actor, who is just, even though he's playing what could be a very stereotypical villain, I'm a bad guy, he's done it in a way which has you constantly going, oh, but is he?
Is he actually bad, or is he going to do something to save not save the day, but benefit himself and get himself away from the bad guy trope? Yeah.
But you agree. It's just, there's more to him and it's interesting. Anyway, so moving away from him, you did mention the cameo, and it is a massive Star Wars cameo. And that is Hera's at a hearing being told off by the senator. Me and you both give that guy some serious side-eye for...
Oh, man, he is bad all over. He is Sith. He's definitely Imperial Siths.
You do have to look at him and raise an eyebrow, don't you? It's the way he dismisses it so readily.
He dismisses it almost because he knows it's true. It's that kind of, no, don't be stupid. I know it's happening, but I'm not going to let you know.
Yeah, I'm a bad guy, see? Yeah. There's a moment in this which cracks me up, okay? And I think you'd have spotted it, and I think you'd have loved it, because he's your new favourite droid. And that moment is C3PO walks in, and this senator, and me and you both don't like, basically makes a derogatory comment about droids.
Are we going to listen to him? He's just a droid. And, Chopper in the background. Yeah. He's literally throwing hands.
Chopper is being held back.
Yeah.
It's like, it just cracks me up. I love that.
Like, does this bitch know who I am? Does he know how much my kill count is? I will take him.
I was going to say.
I will take him.
This senator could easily just show up dead next week, and I think everyone would need to look at Chopper, because there was a clear moment Chopper's just looking at the guy like, oh, okay. I see what you're saying. But the fact Chopper had to be held back, I thought was just a hilarious little fun part to that scene. But yeah, C3PO does rock up, delivers a message from Senator Organa. What a wonderful way of making Leia part of this, obviously with the actress passing away.
Yeah.
This was just a very smart way of doing this. I much preferred them doing this than having a CGI version come in, which I was a little bit worried they were going to... Because I heard them mention before, and I thought, oh, please don't do that. I always find that a bit, wonderful, but at the same time a bit creepy.
I think the only way they can do that and make it work is if it had been R2 come in with like a hologram message or something, because then you can kind of get away with the CGI a bit better.
Mate, do you know what? You just made a suggestion that actually you're absolutely spot on. Sorry I cannot be there in person. Matters have taken me elsewhere, so I recorded this message via my trusted droid R2-D2.
Yeah.
Fans would have freaked out, loved it. Yeah, you're absolutely right, that would have worked. But there's stuff like that, like, it's like so bittersweet. You see her on the screen and it's like, this is wonderful seeing this character, but I'm still so sad. It's my princess.
Yep.
So, the fact that C3PO rocked up, name dropped, I was like, oh, that's wonderful.
Loved it. I was messaging you as you watched it before me.
3PO!
I was like, wait a minute!
Did you hear the voice and then go, no?
It was. I heard the voice in the background. I went, no way. No way.
It's like, I just heard, how rude. I was like, oh, that's 3PO.
There he is.
By the way, I find 3PO really annoying, generally. But him, that was like a perfect amount of 3PO. One line, walk, another line, and done. But basically, Leia covers for Hera, which that's perfect. That just suits the little rebel down to the ground.
Yep.
I love the fact that the Chancellor isn't buying it, because that character we know was a massive part of the rebellion from Andor series. We know she's a rebel at heart herself, but now she's Chancellor, and she's got to be the Chancellor, and it has to be political, has to lead. Yeah. But her coming over to Hera like, don't bullshit a bullshitter. Like, I know you're lying.
I love the way Hera was like, no, eventually.
It's like, eventually, it's kind of true from a certain point of view, which is a very Star Wars line.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that she trusts her. I also like the fact that it's like, I don't, like, what are you up to? How real is this? Like, tell me, be honest.
Yeah.
And that moment was a strong moment, because she has been through it, she's lived through it, she fought in the rebellion to rid the galaxy of the Empire, she's now leading the New Republic. She obviously doesn't want another war. She doesn't want to embroil, and her character's not stupid. It's something we've seen a lot. Very impressive character. That scene in Andor where she just starts having a go at her husband for gambling in front of the guy she knows spying on her.
Yes,
was so smart.
Yep.
Like, that was like, I remember us talking about it, we were like watching, we both just went, oh, that's good. Like, oh, and then you see like later on that like they're doing that intelligence briefing, like, oh, that explains why she's moved that money. That explains why this is going on. Keep an eye on them, because if he's got gambling debt, and it's like she completely shifted the focus of everything from her.
Yeah, genius character.
So smart. So I like that she didn't just become like one of the talking heads that are like, oh no, the Empire's defeated, everything's good and rosy. I'm glad that she's still got about her that, okay, all right, this is these are people I take seriously, saying serious things. I need to listen, even if other people won't.
Yeah, there is actually a threat here. And I liked Kira's answer. It was kind of like, prepare for the worst, hope for the best.
Yeah, and she's absolutely right. Because she knows they've gone after Thrawn, so her hope will be that Ahsoka can do something to take him out in the other galaxy to keep him stranded there. But, you need to prepare for him coming back.
Yeah.
In that other galaxy, the Purrgil arrive. What did you think of the Imperial minefield?
Bastards,
yes, but I think in live action, definitely, this has got to be the first time we've seen Imperial mines.
I believe so. Pretty damn cool, though.
Don't get me wrong, it's all thanks to... And again, back to the novels I read when I was younger, Thrawn used Imperial mines very tactically. He would basically try and lure his enemies to pursue him, and then he would mine where he felt they would come out of hyperspace, which is exactly what he did here with the planet. So he would basically set an ambush for them. This actually brings me on to something I was going to say to you, because Thrawn's new to you.
Yes.
And I think when I tried to describe him to you, I was like, he's very calm and very calculating.
Yeah.
I feel they are really doing it justice. But so from what you've seen, and this episode, I think you see it the most. What are your thoughts on that character right now?
This guy, he's definitely... You can see why the Filoni stuff want to make the end game about this guy.
Yeah.
He is a Thanos sort of level threat from the MCU, or a Negan from The Walking Dead, the other podcast we do. He is the ultimate big bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, the way that he just knew, okay, put the minefield out, that's where the Purrgil will come out. There you go. Minefield that. The fact that he gets all the notes about his enemy and wants to know every detail, their master, where they were born. He wants to know everything. And I'm like, this is a whole new kind of bad guy. We're used to Darth Maul and Vader and that sort of thing, which are a bit more kind of lightsaber first. Killing spree sort of thing. Whereas this guy, he's so calculated, so calm. I'm like, he terrifies me more than a Darth Maul would.
Yeah, there was a scene in this episode which I think just encapsulated everything I like about this as a villainous character, and that's the moment where you feel like he's lost, and he points out, "No, I've just won," and you're like, and I think even Morgan's like, "What? All I see is they're all about to get, how is this a victory?" He's like, "All I needed was time." And yes, we've suffered some losses, which I feel is acceptable for meeting my goals. And he just points out, look, here we are. I'm nearly done. I'm nearly ready to leave.
Yeah, I'm fully loaded. Off we go. They're all together, but they're all the way over
stranded.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Everything he does, and even the kind of talking through the tactics of engage with fighter craft. Okay, disengage. Do this. Everything is calculated to try and get a goal. And I think the other thing that happens in this, so again, it's difficult because what's in the novels technically isn't canon, but Dave Filoni appears to be making it so it's difficult to say whether this is canon as in this is what is true of the live action. So apologies if I'm wrong on this, but I know from a novel that Thrawn worked out that Anakin became Vader.
Yeah, so I saw a thing about this, yeah. So he goes on a mission. Palpatine sends him and Anakin on a mission. But it's a planet where they'd actually bumped into each other when he was still Anakin, not Vader.
Yeah.
And he sits and he works the whole lot out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he basically just from the way he just realizes who it is. Now, if that is true and that is still within this, I felt his reaction to Ahsoka Tano's master was General Anakin Skywalker was a little bit of a, oh shit.
Yeah, that was a no. Even without me, so I found out that information after watching it.
Yeah.
But even so, when I watched this in the live action bit, and he kind of reads that, and he kind of says about, okay, if she's anything like her master, she's going to be unpredictable and dangerous.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he knows. I'm watching that, and I'm like, he knows Anakin was Vader. He knows. Just from his reaction to reading it, it's like, yeah, he knows what's happening.
So the guy is never rattled, but I did feel reading that made him go, ooh, okay, this is, okay, so it's not a standard Jedi.
Yeah.
this one's going to be a different breed. This is, okay, all right. Take a breath, and now I calculate differently, and this is what I do because of it. And he's like, I'm going to put her on a path of her choosing, but one there where all of her options, I'm one step ahead. It's like, oh, what a line.
Yeah, I love that.
What an incredible line. And, I mean, the guy was the voice actor from Rebels, so he knows the character.
Yeah.
And his line delivery, even if, you know, you've got this thing in your head of like, oh, you look so different or whatever, it just is him.
Yeah,
you know,
and the way he delivers the lines. I say, I haven't seen Rebels, but just the way he delivers such simple lines.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. I think I said it last week when he said about, you know, the if you see any Purgils, destroy them with prejudice and always. And I was like,
great line.
I was like, wow. And then on this one, and the line you said earlier about when Morgan's arguing how they've lost, and it's like, no, I've done this, this, and this, and you're like, this guy, like, everyone else is playing rock, paper, scissors, and he's playing 3D chess.
You're absolutely right. And his sort of, you know, even our losses are acceptable considering we were down one mercenary. You know, he's like, I created this engagement based on the two force wielders. We only ended up with one. Therefore, our losses are actually about what I'd expect. So I pulled them back.
Yep.
And, you know, I move on. I've achieved my goal.
It's like, and he knows, okay, so they're going to have their little reunion. That's going to take him an hour or so. But in that time, I've already got these guys to hear. Yeah. And we're up and gone before they're anywhere near us. Like, he just knows it all.
Another set of characters, which are from Clone Wars and sort of animated and obviously books, the Night Sisters.
Yes.
How much are you enjoying
the three witches?
The kind of, the kind of freaky ass. And by the way, I found out that one of my, which is really bad, that I've watched 7 episodes without realising. One of the Night Sisters is an actress called Claudia Black.
Yes.
Who I absolutely love. She was in Stargate SG-1 for a time, Farscape famously, loads of bits and pieces. She's brilliant. She's like one of those people just you'd love to sort of sit and just listen to talk, you know.
Yeah.
She's just brilliant. Every character she's ever played I've enjoyed. And then of course now I've seen it's her, I'm like, oh, it is her. I can see it now. So I love that. That was really nice for me to see that. But those the three witches. So I'm just going to throw this out here now. I don't know how this unholy alliance has happened.
Yep. Between
Thrawn and these three witches. But I don't know about you. Despite all of the, oh, good witches, I need your help. And then being, oh, yes, Lord, you know, Grand Admiral, whatever you wish. I don't know about you, but it feels very much like do you ever remember that propaganda poster from World War II of Stalin and Hitler walking off arm in arm, but they both got knives behind their backs?
Oh, yeah.
Like ready to stab each other?
Yeah.
It just reminds me of that. It just feels like they're kind of like, oh, yeah, we're totally together. Oh, totally. We're besties, totally.
There's something there that's not quite, yeah.
It's like the minute the either side gets what they actually want, the other side's getting ditched.
Oh, yeah.
It's just going to be who betrays who first. I mean, that I could be completely wrong, but that's just how it feels to me.
No, I agree with that entirely. I do believe that there is going to be something, and I'm like, every time I watch the interaction between them all, and I'm like, who's in charge here? Like,
yeah,
is Grand Admiral Thrawn in charge and the witches are doing what he asks, or are they in charge and he's going to them asking for help because they are?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't work out which way round it is.
No. It feels like at the moment they're kind of treating each other as equals, but both equally feel that they're in charge.
Yeah.
Oh, of course we'll help you. We're all besties. Yeah, it's I don't know. It feels a bit weird to me. One of the things that the witches do is track down Ahsoka using their abilities and sensing through the Force. the reason that they are able to do that is Ahsoka is reaching out through the Force to Sabine.
Yeah.
Sabine is in this little wagon train. The Western themes from Dave Filoni, the cowboy hat wearing George Lucas superfan, is always there in everything he does. Mandalorian is literally a Western.
Yep.
Him and Jon Favreau have admitted it. And so in this, seeing a little wagon train, first of all, comedy value. The conversation between Sabine and Ezra cracked me up. The whole, so the Empire fell, Battle of Endor. And the Emperor's dead, so they say. I'm like, oh, don't. Don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, somehow Palpatine returned. It just comes to my head every time. Like, oh, don't.
Don't remind us.
And then, I'm Ahsoka's apprentice. And his whole, really?
Yeah, what?
You? And the look she shoots him, and he's like, I mean...
Of course.
That's really good. I remember you did some practicing, and you were so awesome at it. And she's glaring at him really?
He has a good point so far from what I've seen.
He's totally right. He's totally... The thing about these two is they were kids in a rebellion together.
Yeah.
So they kind of grew up becoming teenagers, and then obviously they've had this time apart, and now they're come back together as adults with that background of almost like a brother and sister thing.
Yeah.
But there's this kind of weird, I don't know, there's this weird thing between them, this unbelievable bond, but right now they're kind of looking at each other like, I know you, but I don't know you. It's a bit, so yeah, it's kind of weird. There's a lot of theories online, by the way, that Ezra's wearing chainmail made out of Stormtrooper dog tags.
I've seen this, and I hope it's true.
So there's two parts to this.
So dark and so Ezra's been here just taking apart. Grand Admiral Thrawn says they've had loads of losses, and Ezra is literally wearing those losses on his chest.
Yeah, so there's two parts to this which I would really like if this is true. Now, Ezra in Rebels, for me, and I know not everybody, was at times a little bit dark side. There was the kid out of temper, and there was a few times where he possibly made the decision that a Jedi wouldn't have made. And Kanan was a phenomenal influence on him, and I think his death in particular kept him very much on the light. But I do kind of love the idea of him being stranded out there thinking there's no hope of coming back, and perhaps going a little feral. Actually, if he's being chased, actually just ripping a few people apart,
Yeah.
But the idea then, that once he's calm and once he's kind of, I've met these people, they kind of really saved me. And I thought again, the head canon, perhaps he was a bit feral and these people being good people brought him back.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, okay, perhaps that's where we're at with it. The idea that you would then wear all the dog tags are still is a bit messed up.
I love it though. That's the sort of messed up that I enjoy. I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah. Okay. It wouldn't be very Jedi, would it?
No.
It just, yeah.
That's definitely more Ewok than Jedi.
Oh yeah, mass murdering little furry bastard.
Yes.
So I enjoyed the interaction. We then have the kind of circling of the wagons moment again, very Western.
Yeah.
The little slingshot again was a throwback to Rebels because Ezra, when we first meet him, is using a slingshot.
That's pretty cool.
So that was a little nod. But yeah, we got the circling the wagons like we discussed earlier on. Shin then shows up. Stormtroopers show up. Now, one of the questions was, are the Stormtroopers reanimated Night Sister magic? No, they are still Stormtroopers. They look badass, but they still can't hit a friggin' barn door, and they still died.
Oh, mate,
easily.
some of these... We had this conversation last week about, it'd be great if these were just, proper experience. Everyone's like, Stormtroopers, and there they are with, 100% accuracy. No. All that time, and they still couldn't banjo an arse, you know what I mean?
No, I really felt they could have kept us in that kind of... oh, they're gonna be good a bit longer.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, they look like absolute badasses, but in fact they're still just cannon fodder, basically. I hope that Enoch and perhaps a few of them are more badass, because otherwise it's a waste of casting and look and aesthetics.
He's just crap, but looks good.
Yeah, and that's kind of like, oh, yeah. But so we do get that scene, and then Ahsoka obviously arrives. Shin runs. She doesn't go with the Imperials. The Imperials evacuate, leaving her. So she runs off. I don't know whether she's going to try and find Baylan or whether she's going to try and head back by herself.
Yeah, I wasn't
Ahsoka
kind of
does
sure
say,
on that.
like, Ahsoka says to her, like, put down your weapon, I'll help you. And she's like, screw you, and leaves.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see what happens there. But Ahsoka's reunited with Ezra. I think it's the first time we've heard Ahsoka laugh in live action. It's a little creepy, not gonna lie. But yeah, so that was a nice moment. She also, Sabine, I thought you were dead. Ezra's like, you thought she was dead? Like, what the are you not telling me?
Yeah.
So that was good. And that probably means all of that's going to come out early next episode.
I would hope
and
so.
I can't. But the thing is, like I said this last week, and I stand by it, I want him to be annoyed. If he just reacts like, oh, you did what you had to do, I'm just going to really annoy me. It's like, I gave up 10 years of my life to keep this bastard away, and you've just given him the way back?
Not going to go down
What
well.
the fuck is wrong with you? It needs to be said. Even if it then all gets calmed down, he's like, oh, I'm cool, whatever. Let's go add some dog tags to my chainmail. What? You know? Sorry, you've done what? So yeah, I overall loved this episode again, and it's just built perfectly into the finale. The run times haven't dicked me around either. I'm kind of delighted with that.
You wait, the finale's 24 minutes long. What?
Probably, yeah, I've probably said that now. It's like the finale's 12 minutes with about 12 minutes of credits. The one thing I keep thinking is that there is going to be an Ahsoka season 2, and I wonder with all the strikes if they will announce it or confirm it straight away or not. The reason why I keep thinking there's going to be a season 2 is because I feel like if you're building towards this movie, you could potentially do more seasons, like rather than a Book of Boba 2, Mando 4, you could just do like something else, but with all these characters, you know what I mean, building towards the film.
Like a cameo.
Yeah. And also it appears to be a something that writers and actors have been striking about. Now, I didn't realise this, but this answers so many questions me and you have asked about different shows and stuff in the past. So if you're an actor and you've got a contract with residuals, which basically means I have acted on this show, every time this show now airs or around the world or anything like that, I earn some money from it. You know, it's not a massive amount, but it's a small amount, and if I've acted on X amount of shows, I'm still earning a living even when I'm out of work, which is good.
Yeah.
However, if they then cancel the show but do a spin-off, that show that you earn the money from is cancelled. You don't earn any money from it anymore. The show's done.
Yeah.
So there are many shows out there that suddenly just get rebooted, and the one that Disney are really getting hammered for in all these strike stuff, and people have really given an example, is Daredevil. So Daredevil did 3 seasons on Netflix. The show now reverted back to Disney, so it's on Disney Plus, and they're not doing Daredevil season 4. They're doing Daredevil Born Again. It's a whole new show.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not though, is it?
No, it's going to be a carry on of what we've already seen. Yeah,
But we're branding it different, and all the people who worked on those previous shows, they now don't get shiced.
Yeah, it's not great, is it? It's really not a good look.
So that battle continues, but that's a battle in this galaxy, not one far, far away. Mate, that's all my notes. Did you have anything else?
I think that was everything. Oh, I had a way to ask you a question, actually.
Yes,
so we see Ahsoka is practicing her lightsaber ability.
Yes.
Is that a hologram or is that a Force ghost?
That is a hologram because Anakin made, I think she says in this 20 of them, or 21 of them, I think she says this plus 20. The interaction at the end is simply because she's watched it so many times. She's just interacting with it by doing the nod before he does.
Right, because I was watching it and I'm like, at first I'm like, Force, it's hologram training, and then that bit of interaction then, and I'm like, hold up.
In Rebels, young Ezra trains with a lightsaber to Anakin's videos because someone finds them.
Right.
So, Ezra basically learned his lightsaber forms by watching these training videos that Anakin made.
Right, okay, because there was a part of me, I was like, wait a minute, if that's a Force ghost, then Hu Yang definitely saw it, accepted it, and just carried on? Or I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
No. That was a recording, and I'm sorry I didn't mention this, so I'm glad you brought that up.
I love the fact that it was Anakin in like the Clone Wars sort of art stuff as well. I was like, nice.
And it was the line of, he was a good master.
Yeah.
It was like, yes, he was. Anakin was. You need to... She's starting to come to peace with that a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe there's still more.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that is it. That is all my notes. Massive thank you again to everybody for listening and getting in touch with us with your feedback and your thoughts on the show. Continue to do that. You can find us across all the socials, and of course you can get in touch directly via email or via your podcast app. My friend, we will be back next week for the finale. Looking forward to it, although slightly nervous.
Yeah, a little bit. I'm interested to see. I don't see the final episode being an episode where it bottles everything up, puts a ribbon around it, happy days. So
no.
I'm excited, nervous, worried. Can't wait.
Yeah, me too. Until then, everybody, you all take care.
And may the Force be with you.
Honoured Chancellor, with respect, I am here on behalf of Senator Leia Organa. May I speak?
Thank you for listening to the Stuff and Things podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can find us on Facebook or online. Simply search the Stuff and Things podcast to join in our conversation every week.